Hey, what's going on, guys? All right, so someone was looking, asked me to show the depowering of the rack. I'm following this guide that's been up since '09, so a good, I think it was like June '09. So if you want to get technical, like 5 years and 8 months or some bullshit. But anyway, so 6 years ago, um, this guy had posted it, how to, properly depower the rack. So I'm following his guide. The first step is, well, basically get the damn rack out of the damn car, which, you guys should be able to do that. But now it says his first step to doing this is just removing these crossover lines. So, I'm using an adjustable crescent wrench. Make sure they're nice and tight so you don't, what do you call it, slip these lines. Because you see they kind of get like that. Let me see. Yeah, it's probably from things. So if it starts slipping, because then you have to get a vise, and luckily, we're not using these lines back. The one person I read welded these shut. What I'm opting to do is actually put nipples on there, grease fitting nipples. So and then if I could grease it up. And then I guess there was another thing that I had seen where someone up here, they kind of just put like a line like this and had it so it wouldn't get no like airlock. I don't know if because if not, let's say if it were to get some type of airlock in there, it would be kind of difficult turning. But I don't think that's going to be a factor. But so even so, if I take one of those lines and just kind of cut it, or even, I mean, oils, when you pump this up, you're not going to pump it up to where oil's oozing out of here, or it's not even, it's using grease. Grease isn't that fluid, it's nice and static. Is static really a word? But anyways, regardless, you understand what I'm trying to say. It's very thick, so it's not gonna come up. So I think I might do that, just leave this higher one a little bit air, just to keep it moving forward. But then the next step that I believe is taking off these guys, and hopefully I got a freaking thing for that. It's like a opposite Torx type head, but it's take this off and then take out this. Where's the what is it? I guess the plunger or the adjuster. So we'll see, because once we get that out, then I'll need to use that tie rod tool. Take off these end links. I'm just gonna mark where I am on the threads, just so it's a little bit easier to do alignment. So just take a little white tip and mark that, so I can at least get the what do you call it, back to where it was. And then once I get this out, then it's really the other side. I don't know, I gotta look at the guide, because what we'll do is take these out, and then I guess we have to bust this thing, but I'll get to that step. All right, so the cap, I used an 8mm standard size hex topic, a 5-point. That came off pretty easy. Then this just pulls out. It was, yeah, you gotta like fit it in, sort of like the distributor. But yeah, so that comes out, because when this turns, that's what runs on these gears to make your wheels go left and right. What do you call it? So that's there. And then also, well, I guess I could always align this back. Well, if you keep on turning it, and then you'll get your center. But yeah, so I had that out, trying to just keep everything, and then you can kind of just, well, you really can't see inside there, but this is where all your fluids are. No, there really shouldn't be no fluids in there. It should be everything, because then the seal's here. But anyhow, that's that. So now the next step that's on the guide is to remove the tie rod, so then we can get out this whole piece, because then this piece is, I believe, I don't know if I'm gonna go out that way, can't remember, but on this piece there's this big cylinder, which you'll see that you need to put some slits in it so the grease can go back and forth. So I'm gonna do it. Oh, and then I don't know if I need to interfere with this worm gear, I mean this plunger, but I'll see. You'll see on the next step if I do. Alright guys, so this is kind of the main reason why you want to remove that piston, because when you go like this, you got that, let me see, go ahead, yeah, so when you go and let go of it, and you see it pops back. There's compression, so that'll interfere with your steering. So that's why we're gonna take this out, slit the piston so we can. And then this is like, I have the biggest I got is the 38, and then what do you call it? I can't open it up, so I'm just hit it with the gun, and yep. All right, so we got this apart. You got your piston rod, and the way this was, this guy was back in there, then it had a seal, this seal there, and then that seal there. So when that seal was in there, that was what's causing this you know, vacuum pressure, basically what was going. So once you take this off, and then we had put this back in, and it builds up a little bit of pressure, not much, but I'm just gonna do, you know, just some slits on that, just to, you know, if the grease builds up, that it won't give me any, you know, like back feedback. So that's about it. Alright, so I went ahead and I just kind of put some extra slits in there instead of, you know, 4, just to be sure. I don't want to have to come back in here. So put those slits in. That's gonna, you know, come in like that. Looks like this is like a support bearing shaft or whatnot, that will stay on this side, and then this end that, let's say that real quick, George. And then this end is a bitch. It's very, very fine threads that are there. I was using a pipe wrench to get it off. I don't have, it's like I have the 38 that I had wasn't big enough, so that will go there. And then even on the inside of there, that will support this end of the shaft, so it won't be like wobbling inside. So what I'm gonna do now, like what I said before, is I'm gonna assemble this set, put that in, you know, that in like that. You know, the gears come here, the worm gears will come over here for that, and then slide that back on. I'm not putting in these seals. That was you know, causing the what do you call it, the pressure to build up. Do that, like I said, put some grease fittings there, and then so I could always service it or just pump it up. Then I'll go back and put that other shit back on when I go back home. But yeah, so that's what's up. It was a little bit of work, especially getting this end of the piece out, and I see why that bitch was hard. But anyhow, all right, so you see, oh, put your hand back and block it. It's moving freely and no vacuum. So I'm gonna put some grease nipple fittings there and then pump it up, and it'll be serviceable, just to go back and build the rack now. Alright, so I'm back here, back at the house with my new depowered rack. The only thing I wanted to, you know, for you guys that are gonna attempt this, right here where that, let's see if we can zoom into that yellow mark. From the factory, they pinched this down. Now this is a threaded collar that probably goes like that far threaded down. Real fine threads. And they punched this down to lock it. So when you're backing this up, it's really tight. And, you know, it's basically kind of re-grooving this thing. You know, this aluminum collar. So this is aluminum. This is, you know, like a steel, you know, piece. So anyhow, when you back this out, it's kind of threaded. So now when you put it back in, what we did is we tapped this down from the inside out, so it's easier to thread in. And then you know, once you do that, I mean, after you do this, you shouldn't have to, you know, go back into this what do you call it, steering rack again. But yeah, so we did that, and then, you know, I showed you earlier that it didn't have no buildup. But then, you know, I kind of wanted to just, let's see, put that there. Let me bolt this shit down. So I'm actually gonna, you know, try building it back. So anyhow, so I haven't put no grease, but, you know, there's just, you know, how she slides just ever so effortlessly. So that video, I mean, that other segment where I showed you I was holding, so when you held down these ports and you had those seals in there, it was building up pressure. When I was turning the car and like making, like, let's say a left and holding it, the car would, you know, like the steering would bump because it was building up pressure, you know, within these ports. And so it would make the steering. So now I'm curious as to how much. But I mean, this is crazy. I'm just, like I said, I'm gonna put grease fittings, and then I'm just gonna put a grease gun and then just grease that all up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put this seal back on, this plunger, and kind of build it up. I got some new bellows that I'm gonna put on, and then even with these inner tie rods, I'm gonna grease up, you know, this area down there. But I'm gonna buy new end links because you see, that's what we were dealing with before. But anyhow, yeah, so I'm trying to do this. You see that tile, some of that tile went over there. You guys saw where what do you call it? I was doing some work, but I finished that. So I'm just slowly trying to, you know, I'm trying to do two things at once. I want to be able to work on the car and also get, you know, shit done. So I'm trying to, you know, juggle, but trying to make progress on everything. So all right guys, so I got these you know, inner tie rods on, but yeah, I'm not gonna finish that up today because I want to grease up all of this, because when the what's that thing called, the worm gear is in, you kind of, you know, like hear it, because it's, you know, I haven't packed any grease. That's why I have this. I'm gonna use these to pack grease with the grease gun, and then before I put on the bellows, I'm gonna put some grease in here and in there, and you know, there, just to let it shift well. But one cool thing that, you know, I wanted to let you guys, you know, see if any, and when you guys do this, is this is the preload plunger, or, you know, so what happens is let me see if you guys can kind of see. You know, it takes a little bit of force. Actually, not a little bit. It takes a good bit. So then, if you, well, that's tightening. So I'm making it. It's gonna make it stiffer. If you undo this guy, then it's gonna, you know, be easy to move. So I guess, you know, this is pretty cool because this could be underneath the car. So, and then you can adjust how you want the responsiveness to be. What I mean, I'm trying to decide what to do, because I had marked it where it originally, you know, where it was stock, but I'm thinking I might, you know, kind of be a little bit loose to see if that helps me turning the wheel without what's that thing called, having you know, power steering without moving. If I can what do you call it, you know, do that. So I figure I'll play with this. So, you know, be better to play with the car, or, you know, play one that's on the car. But I think it's just, hopefully that's how we can make this rack, because what it's doing, it's pressing that spring with that washer onto this rod, which is creating that drag. So that's what's up. But like I said, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna grease this all up, and then I'll put everything in. That's the end. But yeah, no, I just can't wait till it goes in the car. But all right, so I have a sickness. If I got something to do or like get done, I just get his shit done. But yeah, so I put on the new bellows and what do you call it, greased everything up. What do you call it, I need to figure out how I'm gonna adjust this preload, because see, I could turn it like, you know, that. If I start going down, you know, a little bit further, well, I don't think it started touching yet, but if I went back to where the stock one was, where it was stock, it gets kind of tight, you know, like, you know, with my hand. But anyhow, so I put that, but I'm gonna order some new end links. I'll put them back, you know, where they were. So, and then I'm just gonna put some grease fittings here. That's what, yeah, it's pretty, you know, straightforward. The hardest part really you know, was I don't know, everything was pretty simple. I guess maybe the hardest part was taking out this piece because of how they punched that in to lock it, and then, you know, but besides that, what do you call it, yeah, it's looks pretty good. It actually is green instead of black, but I'll probably, you know, get some brakes cleaner and just clean it up or whatever. But I'm liking the new bellows too, you know, like, I don't know, it just looks functional again. But yeah, the thing is, you know, with those slits and everything, so I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put this. But imagine, you know, when you're turning the steering wheel, you have better leverage. And look at this, I'm like turning that and it's going in and out. So, but anyhow, all right, guys.